Thanks for staying with us on the program, The Conversation. Now, political parties are described as the engine room of any democratic society. In fact, it is generally believed that without political parties, there can be no genuine democracy. Now, when the Fourth Republic started in Algeria in 1999, May 29 to be precise, many Nigerians, were hopeful. They had great expectations from these political parties. But the big question is, have they met the expectations of Nigerians? On the conversation today, we will be taking a look at the performance of political parties in the Fourth Republic. And to do justice to today's program is policy development analyst Muyiwa Ogunlaja. Thank you very much for joining us on the program.
Thank you, my dear. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to our viewers at home.
Now, let's take a look at political parties in the Fourth Republic. In my last count, I counted like 23 of them. Now, how would you assess their performance so far in the Fourth Republic?
Thank you. But I would like to make this correction.
Okay.
Registered by HINEC, out of the 92 political parties that sprung up then, were just 19.
Okay.
And up to now, still have 19 registered political parties by INEC. Out of these 19, we have the tripod of PDP, APC, and Labour Party, and LP, and Labour Party. And so I want to base my assessment on this tripod.
Okay.
I'm not saying that there are other political parties, but in order to do justice to it, we will base it on this tripod. Political parties generally are meant to perform the function of ensuring that the best candidates are presented for election so that the citizens are adequately taken care of in terms of the constitutional provision of security for the citizens and welfare of the citizens. In the days past, political parties were noted for their control of their candidates and the states they have won. I remember in the days of Bafemolo, UPN, there was this acronym then called Lobo States.
What does that mean?
Lobo States. Do you know Lobo States?
No.
You don't know? Hey.
You don't know Lobo States?
You see, Lobo States. Lagos, Ogun, Ondo, Bendel.
She's a senior citizen.
Senior citizen. You see, that is essence of history. And these Lobo States were strictly following the cardinal principles of UPN. Any state that deviated then, the party, UPN, will just call the governor to order, and the governor will be back on track. To the extent those states were competing in terms of provision of education, free education, housing, food, employment for all, and food. So, but now, parties have lost control because those are the aim of affairs of parties who are no longer principled men and women. Rather, they are people who will get there and dance to the tune of the chief executive, all because of their own personal gains. Political parties are meant to be the controlling organ. Unfortunately, in what we have in this present administration, most chief executives have taken over the powers of chairmen of political parties. Even at the federal level, the presidency has taken over the power of the chairman of the party nationally. So political parties are just there now. They are now used as stepping stone to power, and they are now, after they are in power, they are now discarded. They are like used toilet roll, and as a result, governors, elective officers now do what they like, which should not be the case. So I want to say that in this republic, political parties are not doing what is expected.
Okay.
If I were to reach them, they will get about 10% because they've not done anything. They have allowed themselves, their powers to be usurped by executives who are power hungry. And because they have to depend on the executive, mind you, if there is no governor or president, most of these parties will not have funding. And they will need money to perform. And since the funding comes from these people, there is this saying that he who plays the piper takes the throne.
Yes.
That's what we have now.
Okay, we have said so much about political parties. Let's talk about, without the politicians, there can never be a political party.
Yes.
These days, or in this Fourth Republic rather, we have seen the campaign of cross-carpeting, whatever you have chosen to call it. And that to me is an indication that our political parties, our politicians do not have ideologies, do not have vision, because you are in PDP today, tomorrow you are in APC, the next day you are in Labour. How do we begin to change this narrative in such a way that, okay, if you mention APC now, one will say that, okay, it is about free education, it is about free medical care. If you mention Labour, you will know it's employment creation. But all the parties that we have these days, it is just butter and bread.
Yeah. I like that last expression, butter and bread political parties. That sums it up. And I hope these politicians will not look after, will not look after you anyway. I didn't say it, so that sums to you are right. You see, in those good old days, as I've mentioned, political parties are meant to be associated with, are meant to be identified with a particular welfare program. To the extent that those good old days, they might mention UPN, people say free education. They might be NPN, they will say housing. They might mention GNPP, Great Nigerian People's Party. They will tell you that it should be quality life. They might even mention NAP, Nigerian Advanced Party. They will say that they will eliminate mosquitoes and rats. Yes. And I hope you know what I'm saying. Okay. I'm sure viewers know what I'm saying. Say they want to, that's Dr. Braithwaite's party then. Okay. That will eliminate mosquitoes and rats from Nigeria. People thought it was, but it was metaphorical. The rats are those who are eating deep to the fabrics of our system, and the mosquitoes are those sycophants who only go there and there, which means it will be a government that will be decisive, that will give the people what they wanted. So the point is that our politicians, number one, we do not have politicians in Nigeria again. A politician is someone who is principled, who follows what is called his inherent belief, who has an ideology. Someone like Shibola Ige of the blessed memory, you know what he has, that purely Marxist, a socialist, wanted people-centered policies that will improve on the welfare of the people. You equally know someone like GNPP president then, Waziri, as a capitalist who wanted investment and that thing. So, but now, there's nothing you can use to describe all these parties now. You cannot even say Labour Party is Labour friendly. You can't say it. You cannot say APC is actually All People's Congress. Some of them are just few People's Congress. You cannot say PDP is People's Democratic Party. There is democracy in PDP. So, because of that, people just move. I know of a candidate who had been to PDP, who left PDP, moved to APGA, who left APGA, moved to Labour Party. That is not principled as well as the principal candidate. I equally know of some who moved from this to this. I know someone who transgressed from APC. When something was denied, moved to PDP. When it was denied, moved back to APC. And you're talking. So we don't have principled men and women again. And because of this, I will not say you have politicians in Nigeria now. What you now have is those who play butter and bread politics. Where will my bread be buttered? That is what we do now. Forgetting that they are writing their names in the history of time. You have mentioned now. You have mentioned Waziri now. Yeah. I also mentioned Nnamdi Azikiwe as someone who started this cross-carpeting. He called himself then, because of the beautiful bride, being wooed by UPN, Obafemi then, and by MPN, and the Shehu Shagari party then, because they needed support to have enough in the house, and he too turned himself to a beautiful bride, and they became beautiful prostitute, in quote, political prostitute. This one entice, this one will entice. Nice. So that's what I'm saying that, but there are some other principal ones. The former Prime Minister of the Eastern region, I'll collect his name. He was purely APGA man, and he died being an APGA person. He never moved from APGA. And you couldn't see something like like that. They just stayed where they are, very principled, preaching that policy. But now, where are they? where are they? The moment you cannot get slot in a particular party,
Yes.
you move.
Yeah.
You now start saying that they don't belong to my political ideology. They cannot do this. I cannot have my ideology. Instead, it's because they have not been given that opportunity. They move to another party. Go in there again. They made that one is lost again. They move to another party. Whereas when you're a politician, you should be principled. You stay somewhere. You should be identified with your policy. Come rain or other thing. So they said that people will say that yes, this man stands for this. People like late Ogunsoya.
Okay.
Yes,
Ade-
Ade Ogunsoya. They knew him. No, as popular as popular parties was then, he never joined. He stayed on his own. He was an ardent follower of late Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. He remained there. People knew in Lagos State. So, and some other universities too. So that's kind of politicians that you ought to have. Unfortunately,
So it's all about butter and bread now.
it's all about butter and bread
Not
now.
the people.
Not the people. No policy. No principle. Anything goes.
That is why you
We
can
have
have them.
anything goes politicians now. And it's annoying. It's annoying because they are not considering the welfare of the people. Politicians that consider the welfare of the people who want to say, let me make personal sacrifice. In this kind of instance now, when people are clamoring for improved minimum wage, and if states cannot really get enough money, what stops these politicians from doing what is called personal sacrifice? Why don't you say, okay, cut our salary by 10% or by 20%? Add it to what you have, so that people can equally live and become and have what is called a living wage, and not a starvation wage. These are the kind of politicians we want. Not people who just be concerned with themselves, who want to have severance package after 4 years, when someone who has worked for 35 years cannot even get any package. And you will do what you like, and most annoying, you flaunt it in front of them as if they are not Nigerians, and you call yourself their representatives. What are you representing? Tell me.
Okay. Now,
So-
with all these things that you have said now, do you blame Nigerians for the way politicians behave?
I do and I do not. I'll let you know. I blame Nigerians because they should know the right thing to do, and they are not doing it. And I do not because they don't have the wherewithal to stand on their principle. A Nigerian who has not had meal for the past 2 or 3 days will not follow a politician who will give him 2 or 3 loaves of bread with 20 naira, with 22,000 naira stock in it. He will follow now.
Because of poverty.
Because of poverty, which is deliberate by government anyway. Because if government provides adequate food, if someone can eat and go and send your children to school, pay your house rent, pay this. When I want to conduct my election, when I want to canvass, when I want to support, I will support based on principle. But because these things are not there, and I cannot eat principle, my children must go to school. I must pay my house rent. I have to go and do what I shouldn't do by supporting any party that can offer me that succor, and which should be done by the government itself.
Okay. Okay, so in terms of political education now, would you say that the people are there yet? Because it does appear that the political class are taking advantage of the people.
Yes.
When it is time for election, okay, people will demand for money.
Yes.
And once I give you money, when I get to the office, you cannot question me.
At all, yes. You are right.
So are the people not their own enemy?
No, they are not. It is the failure of some organs of government, especially in Nigeria now. For now, there used to be an office. I think it's serious. It's called Office of National Orientation Office.
Oh, yes, agency, yes.
What are they reorienting? Nothing. In those good old days, this agency will come out with slogans to the center parties to develop their own. And as some people are moved by these slogans. In those days, look at what happened in Lagos State then. When young ones want to decide what their parents will do, the young ones will go on the streets singing, "Daddy, Mommy, Agbala Jobi didn't care Dibo fún.
that's true.
Daddy, Mommy, Agbala Jobi didn't care Dibo fún." In the process, those children influence their parents because Agbala Jobi promised them free education, promised them full employment, promised them scholarship, promised them school feeding. As a result, they were on the streets. And that influenced a number of parents.
Yeah, but we still have school feeding now, although I cannot...
No, it's not that you don't tell. What I'm saying that the ability, the training, the education of those students to now go to on the streets, chanting those slogans, singing, to the extent that when they get home, they call and repeat it to the hearing of their parents, who will now say, okay, what are these people saying? That means there was something in it, and they go. But now what do you have? Most young ones who know nothing about politics, they are no longer oriented, they are no longer educated. Politics is meant to enlighten, to educate, so that you have what's called a succession plan. No wonder nobody is succeeding anybody in Nigeria apart from the family of that name. The family of that name. When you have a name now, let's say I'm Ogunlaja and I'm the clerk of the house, there will be another Ogunlaja who is in the House of Assembly. There will be another Ogunlaja who is in local government. Yeah. There will be another Ogunlaja who is in my house controlling. There will be another Ogunlaja. That's what they do. It's just family succession.
Party government.
Party government. As if there are no other competent hands to this. But they will not allow that. If that's not allowed, is that politics? It's not politics.
Okay, now that brings us to the selection process.
Yes.
Let's take a look at the selection process for flag bearers of all these political parties now.
Yes.
How would you assess that their party primaries? Many people say that it is based on godfatherism in quotes now. So do you agree with that school of thought?
I do. Based on godfatherism and based on nairaism, naira in quote, monetary politics.
Yeah.
You see, until we demonetize politics, especially campaign, what do I mean? When political parties has contestants to pay as much as 500 million, 10 million, you're asking to buy forms. What are you saying? Like someone who is a young graduate, you want to go into politics, you are full of ideas, you know what you wanted to do, you want to turn this country around. I now ask that I want to contest. The first thing I go and get your form. Under normal circumstance, a form should be about 10, 20 naira. Cost of the production. Just produce only one form. They do photocopy.
We are coming to serve.
You are coming to serve. Just do photocopy. Just do only one, print only one form for everybody. You just go and do your photocopy and submit. You don't need to have printed forms. You are coming to serve. And tell them to pay the cost of the photocopy. Pay the cost to the office. At least collect 5,000 naira. Everybody, you are now on a level playground that anybody can now get the form. And when the form is obtained, don't scrutinize. Don't say you cannot come. Don't tell me who is your father, where is your family. Don't ask those questions.
Throw it open.
Throw it open. Let us all go to the field and see whether they will win or not. But in this case, you would have to pay millions for the form. When you have to form again, you have to go behind and see the selection committee members.
Yes, and the delegates too.
And the delegates too. To the extent that some politicians there are now, their own duty just to become delegates. And when they do, the moment they move in, they move to an hotel, they sleep, they have brown and white envelope, they go to the field that day, and they jointly, as if they are in a chorus, move together and go straight to the destruction line, in quotes, and just cast their votes and come back. And when they are back, the next is a new car, a new house, courtesy of the whaps of dollar notes already in their possession. So we don't call that. How would that kind of person initiate a recall process for an elected officer who is not doing well? You cannot initiate. You cannot recall.
Definitely.
You can't.
So if this buying and selling kind of politics continue in this Fourth Republic, what would be the future of political development in this country?
There is no future for political development in this country unless we change our mentality, unless we discard what I call monetary election. Our election process is too monetized. Unless that is, because there are many women like you and someone else who would like to serve. But where would they get the money for the form alone? Aside from that, you will tell them to have offices in two-thirds of the states of the federation. Do you know of renting a building? And not just a building, the building must have workers. Where would I get that kind of humongous amount to spend? So you're only saying that only those who already have money can continue in politics and can stay in politics. As a result, it rotates, it revolves around that family name because that family has money.
Okay, a very quick follow-up to that. If we have effective laws in place, laws in the sense that I want us to shift our attention to the National Assembly now.
Very good.
In this Fourth Republic, they are more or less the lapdog of the executive.
Yes.
It is what they want that they will do.
Yes.
So if there are no adequate laws, effective laws in place, then how do we strengthen our democracy? How do we strengthen our political development?
I disagree with you that there are no effective laws in place. There are many effective laws in place, The question is, are they being implemented? Are they being executed? There are enough laws that National Assembly can use to make the presidency sit up. But can that be done when the presidency is responsible for the emergence of the Senate President, emergence of Deputy Senate President, emergence of almost all those in the Senate? How can you bite the finger that has fed you? See, until politics is demonetized, I'm still repeating that I don't need anybody to give me money. Those who give me money, we now refer to as Godfather. And when you are now out of tune with your Godfather, there will be trouble. Look at what happened in Edo State.
Yes.
Between Obaseki and Oshiomhole.
Okay.
Look at what happened between Shuaib again and Oshiomhole.
Obaseki too.
Look at what happened in Rivers State between Wike and Fubara. Look at what happened in Lagos State during Ambode's regime between Ambode and the Godfather. And they could not secure the second term. You see, they're exactly any place. And look at what happened in Ogun State, where the Godfather could not make the godson the governor. And somebody else came in, and you know how disruptions here and there. So the point is that until it is demonetized, so those who are really very ready, who are concerned, who wanted development, who are people-minded, who are development-minded, who will now come in and serve and lift the country up. Until that is done, we continue rotating, we continue parabolating. We will not have any headway. And that is what is happening now.
Okay, now let's talk about inter-party crisis from your response to Jibola's last question. Now. A good example is the one that happened within the Labour Party, where we had Abure.
Yeah, and
yes, and of course those that you mentioned in your last response now. So how does this affect the activities of these political parties, the way they function?
Yes.
Because they spend more time fighting themselves.
They spend all the time fighting themselves. And when they are doing that, it's not on principles. It is because something came in and not properly disbursed.
Oh.
Yes. You cannot, politicians don't fight on principles, so they don't. If something comes in and it's not properly disbursed, they will almost want to kill themselves. And mind you, if you follow them, you're in trouble. But the moment they leave the house or the chamber, they become friends again.
I thought you said there's no permanent friends
in
or permanent
politics,
enemies in politics.
there is no permanent friend. They only have permanent interest.
Yes.
And that interest is what has come in. Where's my own percentage? And it's because of that the Senate President the Senate President goofed during the last celebration when he told his colleagues not to make them happy, that you will see your embryos, so they will send to you. Look at that. In a more civilized and sane society, he ought to have stepped down.
In a more civilized
yes,
society.
and sane. In a more civilized and even a saner society, because we're calling sane here, because I said that he ought to have stepped down. That was a statement too much for him to make. That shows what they are doing in that place. That is the truth. Money. It's annoying. That's the truth.
Okay. Then there is this annual or a ritual too. Each time Mr. President is in Lagos, members of National Assembly will come and pay homage.
Yes.
They were in Abuja together. House of Reps, they will come and pay homage.
Yes.
Governors, they will come and pay homage.
Yes.
So there is really this disconnect between the people and those who are governing us.
Thank you.
And oftentimes when these political parties, when they come campaigning, they will promise free health, free education, free road, steady light, power supply, and everything. But when you look at what we have presently in the country, there is this glaring disconnect between the government and the governed. People are suffering. People are dying daily. We read a particular news piece earlier this morning. The cost of drugs is alarming, and the government is not concerned. And yet, in 2027, these political parties will come again, and Nigerians will go and queue behind them. What is the problem?
Now, the problem is that in this country, we have taken people for granted. And that is so because of the level of poverty. Listen, you cannot fight for your rights if you are not strong enough.
And if you are
I'm
hungry.
telling you this, that's because you are hungry, you are not strong enough now. If, as principled as I am now,
Yes.
If I do not have access to my pension every month and it's been stopped for about 4 years, let's say someone says stop it and said it will last for 4 years. By the 6th year, when I have my family is almost, God forbid, once family is almost in ruins, do you think I will continue that principle? I will not.
You compromise.
I will compromise. That is the truth. Because I will not want to suffer. I can even decide to not, yes, I will not do it. But when I now look at the children at home, when I'm now looking malnourished, if I look at my wife, the beautiful one, now looking so ugly and ugly, look at the landlord coming every month. Look at NEPA, you cannot even pay NEPA, not to talk about being on band A. Look at, then what are you telling me? I will compromise. That is it. Until government makes sure that everybody is on the same pedestal, meaning provide food for the people, make employment available. Do you know how many people are out of employment now because of these policies? That most of these multinationals are moving their companies, their headquarters from Lagos to other, Nigeria to other neighboring states. Do you know how many people are dying because of the use of fake drugs? Competent pharmaceutical companies are no longer producing because they are out of the country. What you now have is makeshift drugs. And most of these drugs are killing. The ones that are original are so expensive.
Yes.
You cannot buy original Legometry now. It's almost about 35,000 naira per sachet. They'll give you one original Legometry. When you take it, you need to take about 100 capsules before you feel the effects. Where the original Legometry, it's only one capsule, you have the effects. So what I'm saying. So, our government are so much going to relapse that Nigerians themselves are performing the function of government. In Nigeria, we are our own local government.
Yes.
We are our own NEPA. There's no house in Nigeria that doesn't have a generator. At least, I pass my neighbor. In Nigeria, you are your own water corporation. There's no house that does not have a borehole. You pump your own water. You treat your own water. In Nigeria, you are your own security or your own police. There's no house that doesn't have a megad. Then what is government doing? In Nigeria, in my own estate, we are the one that are taking care of our roads. We tar our roads. We tax ourselves. What is the function of government? What's government doing? You see? So the point is that government must sit up. It's either you sit up or you leave the place.
Who will make them sit up?
Now,
It is Nigerians who make them sit up.
Then what
The
is
ones that are
role of-
hungry.
Then what is the role of opposition parties now?
Very
They
good.
should be the one
There is nothing like
to be-
opposition in Nigeria. It's only classification. Classification. I'm telling the truth.
So right now, what
I will
is
give you a good
the
example. Just wait.
opposition
Give a good example. Before now, Uncle Bode George
Yes.
used to be very outspoken about the president. And, but now he's one said, I'll give him another 1 year. He will perform. He will do very well. What has happened? I will not say it. What has happened? A principled opposition will remain principled no matter what. And you keep on putting the power on his toes so that they will know somebody is there. If I do this, I will be criticized. If I do, but it must be constructive criticism. That's mine. Don't just talk because you're in opposition. If the government has done very well, say the government has done very well. I give kudos to this government now, for instance, for what they are doing in infrastructure, the roads, though not all that relevant, but I did do something. For now, I consider maintenance of all the existing roads as a priority to constructing another coastal road, but it is still be there. So most of the roads in this country now are dead trapped. If you are not very careful, and with this with these miscreants removing the iron covers of what we call dog holes on our streets.
Manholes.
Manholes. Right, thank you. On our street, you find many accidents happening. You will not know. You just assume that it has been covered. When by the time you're going to get to it, it is vehicle somersault. You see, those ones picking those iron rods from those manholes are doing because they wanted what? Survival. Survive, because they will not do it during the day. They do it at night. They deny themselves the comfort of sleeping, of resting, because they needed to survive. Do you think if they have enough food to eat, if there's a place for them to sleep, if they are sure that when they sleep, NEPA will not disrupt their electricity, they have a place to sleep, they have water to drink, do you think they will be on the road picking those things? They wouldn't be on the road picking those things.
Okay.
So that's it. Government must sit up and be more alive to its responsibilities.
As we begin to coast home now, what are the vital lessons of those years from the political class that
very good.
the politicians of these days, of this Fourth Republic, can take from them to make things better for Nigerians?
One of the vital lessons is not believing in psychophancy. In those good old days, when the president will be visiting states, it is the children from schools that will line the streets with our national flag that will be welcoming the president. President is coming. They will start singing. We'll start marching. We will stay there in the sun. From as early as 7 o'clock, the president will stay in the barracks, who will not leave the barracks until 11, but we will not mind. He will now pass around 12. Hey, our president. We welcome him. We do that. But now, it is governors, Senate president, that come and welcome the president. Somebody, you are domiciled in Abuja. You see yourself on a daily basis. Welcome back to Lagos, second the president. At the moment you are out of your state, out of your station, you collect out of station allowance.
Okay.
They do.
Oh.
They collect out of station allowance. So for coming to Lagos to waste time, they collect money. They collect money. So the point is that why is the presidency or government encouraging wastage? Why? Encouraging wastage. So the point is that everybody is at fault for now. Everybody. I know the president will want to play. He want to play to the gallery by providing them this avenue so that they will not do, because the National Assembly is very powerful.
Yes.
They can decide to impeach him. They will just find one or two reasons, and the man is gone. Perhaps he's trying to, but the president should be very, very bold.
Yeah, but we had National Assembly in those days too, before this Fourth Republic.
We had National Assembly made up of people who were principled. I will tell you that, who are principled. Look at when Gabanaba was the Speaker of the House of Assembly. He told Obasanjo straight away that we will impeach if you do this. And Obasanjo was on his toes throughout this period. Look at Okadibo when he was the Senate president. So these are the issues we are saying.
But they
so
dealt with Okadibo at the end of the day.
They did.
They dealt with him.
They did because when you are the incumbent and you have access to adequate fund, there's a lot you can do with it. And especially when your colleagues are equally the ones that are equally looking hungry, in quotes. Though they have money, they had money then, they still look hungry. So a bag of Ghana must go still influence their thought. Because they too are not other principled. So that in some other areas, you have people who are very principled who refuse to do the biddings of the executive and say, no, this is wrong. So the point is that wastages we have in the system, wastages, we are talking about having money to pay workers who put in their sweat. There is an narrative that says that workers' sweat should not be allowed to go in vain. Now we are saying that in the blood of our motherland, we don't longer have a fatherland.
We left fatherland.
We will soon, some of us start asking who's our father now. No, our motherland. So the point now is that let all of us believe that this country is for everybody. Anybody that thinks that the party sum of 100,000 naira per month is too much for any worker, you hear that you are good enough about almost 20-25 million every month, and that is too much for any worker. That person is not realistic. I want to very carefully use of my words. It's not realistic. It's not possible. But thank God, some of them are waking up from that number. There was a governor who said he will pay an amount to retain his own workers. Said he will pay an amount approved to retain his own workers. Must we actually discuss the amount to be paid? Imagine the ludicrous insult. People said 6,000 naira was nothing, and you now added 2,000 naira. 2,000 naira. What are you saying? Are you saying people don't deserve it? 2,000 naira in addition to graduates of many years? So people are putting so many years into the service? Kababa. Let's say the truth. It's annoying. And you are going in opulence, going up and down. Federal government is actually thinking about buying two new jets for the president. Where are they going? BK was in
They said it's for security purposes.
What for security? Whoa. The Prime Minister of France, Cameron, am I right? That young boy.
Macron.
Macron. once visited the country of recent, himself and that and his host, they were riding on the bicycle. They were riding on the bicycle. You see? There was a particular nation again where the Prime Minister trekked to the office. He trekked to the office and he was speaking to the people, how are you, how are you, how are you? That's the way it should be.
Okay,
When Alhaji Lateef Jaqorri was governor of Lagos State, he was using his Toyota, what's that old car now? Toyota something. He used it throughout. Toyota Crown, God bless you. He used it throughout. And anytime he was in the secretariat, he walked without anybody. Even the Lukwiju area, he walked alone without anybody. Nothing happened to him because he was people-centered. People knew that he came to serve them. You see? So if you really want to serve, why are you scared? Why are you scared? It's like a reverend gentleman who says he believes in God, God will protect him, and he has retinue of military men behind him. And you are telling your congregation that believe in God, God will protect you. What are you telling me? You see,
now
look at that paradox.
You talked about France. You mentioned all those developed countries. So what should our politicians, the way we practice our own democracy here, it seems so different from the way they practice their
Extremely
own.
difficult, but Nigerians we are from a different part of the. We are from a different part of God. Though. I don't know the God that created Nigerians. That's the truth. We are totally different. Unfortunately, our leaders are the worst set of leaders anybody can have. I cannot see anybody with what is happening now and see displaying opulence. See displaying opulence. Are they not even scared? That people cannot eat properly, cannot sleep properly. You are saying that you cannot even give them $100,000 per month. And you now go to parties, you'll be displaying opulence. You'll be displaying opulence. You are coming to Lagos and say this and that. And you now have your own car, backup car, front up car, sidewalk car, middle car, and people there, another will be paid. What kind of wastage is that?
So what should we learn from those developed countries?
We should learn that politics, you see, the problem is this. Let politics be, let it be part-time. Let all our leaders, only the presidency, the vice president, governors, should be on full-time basis. And as they are on full-time basis, let them earn the salary of a permanent secretary in the service. Let all of them know that when you come in there, this is your salary. So only those who are really genuinely interested to serve will come. And let all those in the Senate, the green chamber, the red chamber, and the one in the blue chamber, House of Reps, and other houses, let them know that they are coming to sit and discuss laws, and they only get sitting allowance. You say that madness will reduce. And only those who are very, very competent and who are dedicated will come to the house. Look at in Great Britain, for instance, what they have is sitting allowance. Yes. There is no MP that does not have his own job. You must have your own job. You must have your own occupation. I asked someone, one of these ones, I asked, what your occupation are? I'm a politician. Is politics a job? Hey, imagine. And he has nothing to do.
Full-time job.
Full-time job.
I'm a politician.
I'm a politician, that's all. Hey? No training, no vocational skills, no education, nothing. Okay. And let me tell you, the man is better than me in terms of money.
He has money.
In terms of money.
Okay, now, so since they are the ones that will make this law, do you think it is possible for us to have that? They are the ones that will make the law.
No, that's why I'm saying that. We have made a fundamental mistake right from the word go. When that constitution that you're using now, when it was being coined, when it was being propounded, the military men in power then, they did not see beyond their nose. They should have put it there. That, okay, anybody coming to this, you get the current salary of a permanent secretary in the service. Then those coming to the executive, to the chambers, we must earn sitting allowance. All those ones, if they had been incorporated in the constitution, we will not be where we are today. We will not. Many of those who are there now will have found jobs to do. You see? And the cost will not be so enormous now. If you continue with this cost in the next 3, 4, 5 years, Nigeria will go under. That's the truth.
Okay,
Nigeria will go under.
Do you think we still have men of integrity? And let me use this as an example. Do you think the former governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Ganduje, can look Mr. President in the face and tell him that I've interviewed so many Nigerians. They are barely surviving. The cost of food is high. Please, you need to do something to brighten the chance of our political party in 2027.
It cannot. For 2 reasons. One, only a saint can talk to a criminal. A criminal cannot talk to a criminal. If you have been caught with words of foreign currency in your babariga,
An allegation.
if allegedly, if you have been allegedly caught, I agree. Allegedly caught with, and you have not been able to disabuse minds of people, you cannot allegedly ask for people to be taken care of in court. That's number one. Then number two, some people are mundane. They are mundane. They are not bold. They want their Man Fridays. They thrive on revoltes. They thrive on telling people what they want to listen to.
A sycophant.
Yeah, sycophants. And when you know that, especially when you know that you have a leader or anybody that would like to be praised, you do it and get it on. So you cannot then go to that kind of a leader and tell him that this is it. People are suffering. Although the Tinubu I used to know when he was in Lagos was people friendly, people centered, extremely humane, and people enjoyed him. But I think there is a shift of direction now, and only God knows what has happened. But I know that some people are still very close to the masses, and they will be telling him
to power.
They can't. Nobody can do it now. Nobody, because they all want their palms to be greased. They can't. The few that can do it are dead. Maybe Gani Fahimi would have done it. Even the Falana has kept quiet. He's kept quiet. But the judge is no longer talking. He's sleeping.
Okay, sir. Let us talk. Earlier today, we talked about former President Olusegun Obasanjo visiting our First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. What's your take?
What are you saying? Come on, let's save it like that. But I know that for you to have a Obasanjo go and visit someone, you should know what that means, number one. And Obasanjo used to be extremely vociferous about Tinubu and his administration.
Yes.
And he actually once said at the time that man should leave if he's confused because he doesn't know what to say. And you're not coming to visit. What are you saying?
He visited the wife.
What is the difference between the wife and her husband? It is said that the better part of a man is the wife.
It's the woman.
And they say that beside every successful man, there is a woman. Not even behind now. Now beside. Yes. So she's beside her husband. So what happens to husband will happen to her. What happens to a wife will happen to her husband. So invariably, if you cannot go to when you have gone to the wife, you have actually gone to the husband. And that is our sojo. So what are we saying in this country? God save Nigeria.
Okay, now that it seems that our political parties are not doing the needful in this Fourth Republic, elder statements, the likes of Obasanjo, Ibrahim Babangida, Abdusalam Abubakar, Chibayo Adebanjo, and the rest of them, what do you think should be their role in guiding these politicians to do the right things?
Do you know that it is not all that difficult to pull a horse to the river? But it's very, very difficult to force that horse to take any water from that river. So I am sure that these people will not be happy with what's happening, and they will want to call these people to order. But it's not enough calling them to order. When you do they follow up? Do they listen? Do you take to advice? So the point is that Nigerian politicians have made up their minds to prepare for their own future, because especially now that we are proposing a 6-year one-time tenure. Knowing fully well that they will not come back, they want to do everything and get away so that they get prepared, they get prepared for the future. So the point is that these elder statesmen are there. Some are still principled. They would have spoken with them, but have they taken the advice? I know many people that Uncle Bode just spoke to or spoke with during the elections. Some did not take the advice. I know that the rift between Uncle Bode George and our good friend Jandor was because of the advice given to Jandor that did not take, that happened. But this gentleman now is now the one telling us that we should allow the government we should give the government some time. I know full well that there will be a turnaround.
Okay.
I know that on the long run, most of these policies will bear fruits. But the question is that only those who are in existence on that long run will have the benefits to enjoy these fruits. Okay. So in the short term, What do we do? Let government do something. That's my problem.
Okay,
That's my own. Let government do something. Let us ensure that the people survive. Let the people be allowed to breathe, as our president promised. But people are not breathing. People are suffocating now.
Okay.
They are suffocating, and it's not in the best interest of the nation.
All right, interesting conversation we have had with Otumba Muyiwa Ogunlaja, public development analyst on performance of political parties in the Fourth Republic. And of course, he has challenged all the political class to do the needful and, of course, bridge the gap between them and the people. Democracy, they say, is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. But in this part of the world, we don't really know what our democracy is all about. Otumba Muyiwa Ogunlaja, we thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be taking a very quick break on the program at this moment. When we return, Adebimpe will be taking you through Conversation Lagos on the program. Okay, it's a team anyway. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.